tracks review for the DS. This is the second Zelda game to hit the DS, and it's the first Zelda game I ever played. The game plays similarly to Phantom Hourglass, but is this game worthy of being called a legend? Story and basics. In this title of the famous series, Link is a simple village boy who's been trained as a locomotive engineer by his mentor Nico. Link heads to Hyrule Castle Town to receive his diploma and graduate from apprentice to full-fledged engineer. After the ceremony, Zelda asks Link to smuggle her out of the castle and to investigate the Tower of Spirits, a tower in the middle of New Hyrule, and to investigate the disappearance of some of the spirit tracks, or train track pieces. On the way, the track underneath the train disappears and the tower breaks into floating pieces. They are then ambushed by Cole, Zelda's sort of secretary guardian guy. However, since I always forgot his name, I called him the Demon Leprechaun. Oh, come on. You have to admit he's the complete Irish leprechaun stereotype. Short, wears green, and has a top hat on his head. Well, he really has two. He has demon horns under them. But anyways, him and his cyborg friend burn. What? His arm is like completely metal. Ugh, never mind. Anyways, they kidnap Zelda's body after using dark magic to separate her body from spirit. They meet an old lady in a wheelchair named Angie, who happens to be one of the sages of Hyrule. Link then must go with Zelda's spirit to awaken the 5 sages with his spirit flute and stop Cole and Burn from using Zelda's body to resurrect the evil demon king Malladus, who is imprisoned under the Tower of Spirits and is chained to the spirit tracks. Even with that long story, it doesn't stop there. There's a lot of plot twists, and it's very fun and funny to play through, so it gets a 5 out of 5. Graphics and presentation. The graphics are alright. Well, it is a DS game after all, but for a DS game, the graphics are great. This game, along with Phantom Hourglass, uses the same cel-shaded art style as the Wind Waker, and I'm still in love with it. Even if every person is made of huge pixels, it still looks good and fits the system's capabilities. The soundtrack is also pretty good. It's definitely not my favorite of the series, but it is high up there on the list. The music style is similar to the Wind Waker, but seems to have a hint of Ocarina of Time in it. Everything works pretty well, so it gets a 3 out of 5. Controls. I didn't expect to have the control system work very well, seeing as I'd heard of all the uses for one button the series used a lot. But surprisingly, the controls work really well for the most part. Almost everything is touchscreen based. You drag the stylus on the screen to move Link, tap to swing his sword, and make a circle to do a spin attack. Using a pull-up menu, you choose which item in your inventory to put in, then tap the icon on screen or hold L to use it. This worked really well. The touchscreen is very responsive, and as the items are just one tap away, it's very easy to switch between items in battle. However, the problem I had with controls was regarding to the spirit flute. You use the flute to awaken statues and the sages, but that's basically all you use it for. Oh, and you use it to call birds to you. But other than those things, there isn't much to do with the flute. Also, you had to drag the flute that was on the touchscreen and blow into the microphone to play the highlighted note. But with your face so close to the screen, you can't move notes. It also wasn't very responsive, so Controls gets a 4 out of 5, even though the spirit flute didn't work very well. Gameplay and features. Gameplay is the same as the last games in the series I reviewed, except something new is brought to the table. Instead of separate dungeons, you have 5 dungeons and 1 hub dungeon. This means each time you complete a dungeon, you come back to the Tower of Spirits and go to a new floor, where you go through a mini dungeon to unlock the next area on the map. This was a fun addition to the series and took away the monotony of the last DS game, where the hub dungeon made you go through every floor every time you went back in. Also, this time you don't sail to islands, but go by train to different locations. This, however, can get as boring as the Wind Waker sailing. You can draw a path to the place you want to go, but then you put your train in motion and it slowly moves towards the destination. A little fun is that enemies come by at points, and you can shoot rocks to get rupees. You can also hit a rock with a bunny on it to play a quick minigame to catch it and collect them at a bunny zoo, which gave a little replayability. But the same going through dungeons is as fun as always, because the level design is very unique, and the puzzles make you think very hard sometimes. My favorite puzzles are when you use the sand wand to move blocks into set places, like in a tile slide game. And for the first time, you get to play as Princess Zelda. Slashing a phantom in the back, Zelda will take over the phantom's body, and you can control her using the same mechanics as you used when you controlled her in the beginning of the game. This was a fresh feeling that I truly enjoyed. There's also some multiplayer modes that the past DS game lacked. Here you can trade items with friends wirelessly, but this is really no use, seeing as the items are only used to buy new trains, which, other than a new horn, don't change gameplay at all. There's also a multiplayer mode where up to 4 players wirelessly pick a colored Link and grab as many force gems around an arena and try to get the most, picking them up after opponents are hit by bombs you lay or phantoms guarding the arena. Since you only need one game card for this mode, it was very fun to play this with my friends. So all in all, gameplay and features was okay, so it gets a 4 out of 5. The verdict. The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks is an amazing game, with the good graphics and soundtrack, not too easy but not too hard difficulty, lots of great items, a fun multiplayer battle mode, and a great story that includes a demon leprechaun. This game is worthy of being a legend. However, with train travel being boring, no need to collect and trade items, and one of the shorter of the series games, this game can be frustrating at times. But overall, it's an amazing game, worthy of the 4 out of 5 we gave it. This game gets the title of great and the updated way to play of a buy. This game is a great introduction into the fantastic series, and most fanboys would love it as well.